cannot see it flying, but it was designed. We had a competition during the COVID lockdown, and we asked children to design a flag. The police met and came up with a short list of about 3, and then we met at Meta, and we came up with the final design. The blue stands for Malfield, which is the foundation flag. I think lilac purple is going to be St. Paul's, and burgundy Shadwell. The flag will also show The flag will also show the motto, be proactive, conquerors and overcomers, which is the subgroup of explorers. and any other specially invited guests. I recognize Mr. Myron Percival, the contractor. Of course, we have Inspector Isles Joseph, the team leader of the community policing team and members of the community policing team. We have, of course, the Explorers children who are here. When we initially planned this program, that was before COVID-19, we intended to have all the clubs and have a massive representation, but I hope, Mr. Brandy, we only have 150. That was the number you gave me, but I think we made it. The rain, of course, forced us to change some of our plans. I am quite pleased to be here this morning chairing this program. 3 years ago, 3.5 years ago, I asked and received approval for Inspector Isle to work with me. At the time, the assignment had to do with Dr. Chaiton's program, where we were to implement some of the measures which would have been discussed at the symposium which was held earlier that year. But Inspector Isles took it upon herself, having been involved in community groups since around 2008 as a constable at Shadwell. Without any prompting from anyone, she walked the streets and back streets and alleys of Molyneux and Phillips and put together a club. On the 26th of June 2017, I was invited here at the Headquarter at Phillips, and I saw 80 children, about 80 children assembled, and that was the start of Malfield Explorers. That was the start of the Explorers movement. 1 month later, I invited the Honorable Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris, the parliamentary representative and Minister of National Security, to come and speak to the club. And later on, this club became involved in the Independence Parade, which was delayed because of hurricanes and was held in October. And the Prime Minister's office assisted with the bottom of our uniforms. The reception of the public to the Explorers at the Independence Parade was such that we realized that we had to move this program forward. And the inspector went into Shadwell, and on the 27th of December, she launched Shadwell. And in March, she launched St. Paul's, and that was the beginning of the Explorers movement. At this time, we have 12 clubs around St. Kitts with close to 1,200 members. I want to say that already we have registered nearly 150 children in Sandy Point and about 70 in Sadlers who are waiting to start the Explorers Club. And I want to say to you that this building will feature very much in the Explorers programming going forward. I was not aware of her plans, but I was introduced to Miss Cavell Darway, the architect who did design this building, when she showed me some sketches which, or Inspector I showed me some sketches which Darway had done, showing this building. And this is a huge building, and maybe it's good that the rain came, because you see what can happen. This is just the female quarters of this building we are in right now. We have two rooms of this size, one for males, one for females. They're not just for sleeping or anything, they're really for activities. I want to thank the government of St. Kitts and Nevis for financing the building. The Prime Minister supported Malfield and supported Explorers. Prior to this, we had 2 pontoons which we got from Care Construction the Park Hyatt group, which were given to us thanks to the intervention of the Prime Minister. But Malfield Explorers never had a home. They were always on the basketball court, and when rain came, they either had to run, shelter somewhere under somebody's house or something, and got wet. And so this building was critical to moving Malfield forward. But Explorers is not just about the building. I want to say that there are 5 strategies associated with Explorers. The first one has to do with bringing children of all ability levels, the bright ones, the not so bright ones, from all social backgrounds, the good, the bad and the ugly, from good homes and with parents who take care of them, and from homes where the parents are not so attentive. We bring them together and we have activities for them, a range of activities which range from games and social activities, after school programs, guest speakers, etc., etc. And that's critical because we want in that group at-risk children to mingle with other children. But we also have special attention to at-risk children, those who are attending who are not so bright, and so we organize classes for them. Maxine teaches them Spanish. Some of the police officers help them with homework, along with getting other teachers to help them. Basically, it is to assist the children in any way we could, to keep them out of trouble. That's one strategy. The second strategy has to do with developing civic mindedness in students, in the children. And that is where inspectors talk about the Explorers cadets. The Explorers cadets are not like these Defense Force cadets, although we want them to look like cadets. Same boots, or boots and berets and so on. But they are really our attempt to provide a resource for the police, the Defense Force, and the Army and fire and so on, so that when they leave school, they can apply and would have been exposed to police activities. Those who want to get into police, they would have already been involved in those activities. Those who want to get into the Defense Force would have already been in part of that program, etc. And so they're going to learn to drill, but they're also going to learn some of the basic rules and regulations related to policing and customs and immigration, etc. While at the same time developing skills of civic mindedness. The Explorers major is also an important development for us. We have two levels. The first one has to do with those who are in the clubs at this time, and the clubs range from age about 4 or 5 to 17. These are some of those who are already displaying leadership skills, assisting the police and parents and whoever else in running the club and doing things. And they are being today labeled Explorers Major 1. Major is an adjective meaning high level, senior, that kind of thing. Rather, it's not major like the Army, it's an adjective meaning of a higher level. And then we have some older ones, those who would have already left school, left CFB college, most of them already working, but they're like Explorers, and they still stay around, and they're going to be here for a while. They're going to be the leaders of this camp, of this headquarters, if we have activities. We call them Explorers Major, and most of them are from Malfield. But I want to say that this building is here because of the vision of Inspector Rosemary Isles, and I want her to, I now ask Inspector Isles to come forward and be recognized, please. Inspector Isles. This way. All right. This way. One of the innovations which the inspector did when we started the program was to get some of her colleagues, because as he said, they were moving around with knees shaiten. So some of them came together when they were off at 4, when they finished their duty at 4 on their rest day. They went around to communities, and that was the genesis of the community policing team. Eventually, though, we realized as the Explorers built out that we needed a full-time engagement. And some of the original community policing team have moved on. Some have retired, some have resigned, some have been promoted elsewhere, etc. But over the last, 2 years probably, we were able to put together a team of young enthusiastic police, and which we are putting together a team of young enthusiastic police who have worked with IELTS. Sergeant Sampson is the only member of the original who is still with us. I want to call the others who have worked hard and are working hard, and I want them to come forward, please. Officers Hendrickson, Maxine, York, Short, Delon James, Delon Decent, Pemberton, and Kylan Lake. That's it, I think. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to, and Hodge, and Officer Hodge, I want to present to you the hard-working community policing team led by Inspector IELTS. We are short of about 3 right now because we have 12 clubs and there are only 9 members plus IELTS. And Sandy Point and Saddlers already challenges us if we're going to move forward. But I want to say that these are the persons who are going to continue to move Explorers to the next level and bring this building here to life, along with others who will join later on. Because we have a full program, and I want to publicly commend them for their hard work. I want to say, and in my opinion, and I'm biased, but in my opinion, this is probably one of the most motivated team in the police force. I want to commend Inspector IELTS for her hard work, and Explorers. Thank you, please. Explorers then is a police-led organization. But Explorers is more than just children and police. Explorers has a major role for the parents. Because the parents for all of the clubs are on chats with Inspector IELTS. She has the names and the phone numbers of every parent in the Explorers group, and she's in full contact with them. Parents are also part of the teams that are helping to run the Explorers clubs. And parents who have problems with their children, as long as the Explorers members, they contact the team. Schools call the team. As long as a child there is not performing or not behaving. Once they're Explorers, then we have a responsibility to straighten them out. And we even go as far as to say, apologize to your parents before you come back and confirm that they did apologize, because nobody will be a member of an Explorers club who is rude at home and come to a club meeting. Those are strict rules. Once the parents say you're not behaving, then you can't be in the club unless you go and apologize. Exception. The third strategy for explorers has to do with what we call diversion. The OECS Commission, through consultants from the state actors, the states in the United States, through consultants which they sent here, they recommended explorers, the community policing team, as a good organization for diversion of juveniles who may be getting involved in trouble or who have got involved in trouble. And we brought this to cabinet. We had support, and we had support from legal entities around the country. And diversion there, we are waiting for the Ministry of Social Development and the organs to mobilize on this aspect of it. But let me say that Explorers by its very nature is a diversion program, and we encourage parents who have problems with their children to enroll them in Explorers so that we can deal with them. And we will do this with or without that aspect of the diversion, because we have promoted Explorers as a safe haven for children with problems. And this room will be a refuge for children who have problems on a temporary basis until a permanent solution is found for them. These are some of the plans we have going forward. Ladies and gentlemen, therefore, I want to say that this building has the following projected uses. One, it is the home base of Malfield Explorers. Two, it is the place where all of the Explorers Club, and when it started building, people said, "Yo, you're building a police station." This is not a police station. This is not a community center in the traditional sense. This is the Explorers building. And so whether the club is in Sandy Point or St. Paul's or Jake Bay or Shadwell, this is their home base. And the plan is that within a 3 or 4 month period, every club will have some time here in this building, doing things, whether it's sewing, and we thank people like Karen's for giving us machines. They're right at the back there somewhere. We have a sewing program. We have already engaged persons to help with basic woodworking skills, etc., etc. And so every club will have opportunities here. Every week this is supposed to be a hive of activity. I want to say that an important activity will be the community policing base of operations, in the sense that here is where they can meet and discuss and plan what we're doing and what they're doing with the clubs. And as I said before, it will be a safe haven for children with problems. Ladies and gentlemen, those are my opening remarks. I will have a few things to say as we go along, but I want once again to thank you for coming, for your support. I want to say to the country that Explorers is an innovation which has a lot of potential for keeping young people, children out of trouble, or for dealing with children who have trouble. We have attracted attention regionally through the OECS Commission. We have attracted attention from Boston University, from Northeastern University at Boston, the Center for Crime and Community and Crime Resilience, and Georgetown University in Washington has, after discussion with Northeastern University and with the inspector and I, where we share the vision for Explorers and the programs, they have incorporated Explorers into their public policy graduate program, and they are working with us right now to review literature so that we can have a sound theoretical basis for what we are doing in Explorers. And so I want to say that Explorers is on the verge of becoming an international program once we can provide data to show that it's working and has worked. So thank you very much for coming, and we'll move forward with the program. At this time, I'm going to call on Mr. George Gilbert, the Chief Engineer of Public Works, to come and give us a project overview for this building.
Thank you very much, Master of Ceremonies. May I adopt the protocol which has been established? Thank you very much. Over the past 4 years, the Explorers Club commenced its activity here in Mulfield. As Mr. Petty said, they started in 2 containers to the back there, and they outgrew their size. And they started looking for land to do the development. This piece of land was identified, and the Ministry of National Security got Ms. Cavell Darway to do designs and drawings, which were sent to the building board and approved for the development here. Ms. Darway, I don't think I saw her here today, but Ms. Darway is a product of Public Works. She worked in Public Works for many years and developed a skill there in Public Works. Then after the drawings were approved, the ministry was satisfied. The ministry got Public Works involved. What was Public Works' role? Public Works now had to take the drawings and actually do quantities for it. Normally what we see in the industry is that somebody will give a contractor a drawing and say, give me a price for this. And everybody will come up with a different price and different stories. What we did, we actually went through the drawings and we actually quantify everything on the drawing, specify everything, what type of window we should have, not just a super guard window, but it must have a tint in it. The window must have X amount of aluminum. The light fixture must be X, the light fixture must be Y, as opposed to just price a document. After we developed this document, we actually invited contractors to bid on it, to give us a price, a time on this project. We got a number of contractors, about 4 contractors, and the 4 contractors were from the area, Molyneux, Phillips. And we actually gave them the document, the drawings, a tender document. They actually went away, they review, and we had a site meeting right outside here, and we discussed with them exactly what to be done. They asked questions, the questions were answered, and then they went away and they priced their drawings, and then they returned them to Public Works. Had a set time and date to return to Public Works. They were returned to Public Works, they were invited to see the opening process. The documents were returned in a sealed envelope. They were thrown in a box in Public Works, and then we had a time when they should be opened. The very same day, 15 minutes after, we opened the box in their presence, we took them out, we showed them, these are the documents, something like election, took them out, we showed them, then we opened the envelope, we actually called the name of the contractor, Contractor X, and we look at it, the price given is X amount of dollars, and the time to do the project is 365 days. The document was signed, and we actually put it aside. We take the other one, we open the envelope so everybody see Everybody heard the prices which were given, the time, etc. Then the contractors went away and we evaluated those tenders. What do you mean to evaluate them? We actually went through the document now which they priced. We look at the pricing, we look at the time. Public Works did their own and we made some comparisons. Now I mean a guy might have a low price and he might say, aha, that job is mine because I had the lowest price. But we not only looked at the price, the final price, we looked at how he built up his price. For example, if you look at this building here has a lot of block work in it. This is blocks. All this is block. In the middle there you have a column out of concrete and you have all these blocks around here. So the building consists of a number of blocks. Now, blocks cost about $354 for a block. Now, if a contractor would say, let's assume that he said he's going to do it for, we ask the price you give is for the labor and material. So when we ask you about, let's say block, the price you give is for labor, material, your profit, and your overhead. So let's assume a contractor will give up blocks. We said we need 20,000 blocks. And a contractor said he will do it for $5 for a block. Then you realize his price might be lower than others. Now when he goes to TDC to buy a blocks and TDC tell him four something, almost the same $5. It means therefore every block he uses, who will be paying the labor for it? It means that somebody he has to find the money to pay the labor for each block. So it means that his block price is too low. So although his price might be in keeping, it will be weeks, months, he will be just laying blocks. And then he realizes every time he lay blocks, he realizes he's losing money. So every time he makes a claim, instead of we paying him, he realizes he's not making anything. So it means that he is not substantial. His price is not sufficient to do the job. So we were looking for a contractor who has a reasonable pricing in most of the areas, and then we actually went through them, and out of the 4, we found one which was more or less close to Public Works price, and we negotiated with him, and the name of that contractor, the construction firm is M&D Construction, which is the manager of that firm is Myron Percival, and he's here today. I saw him in the public. Could you stand and be recognized, Mr. Percival? Thank you very much, Mr. Percival. Mr. Percival is a young gentleman, Christian-minded pastor, and he lives in the Phillips village. And he was considered to be the most substantive bidder for this project. We invited him in, we had a conversation with him, and we actually asked him if he's willing to stand by his price. And he said yes, he's willing to stand by his price and his time, and we actually proceeded to prepare a contract for him. A binding agreement between the government of St. Kitts and Nevis and Mr. Percival, or M&D Construction, which we did. Then we actually now asked him to go and get insurance for the project. We didn't want him to come here and start to work, and then if anybody got injured here, then the government being left exposed. I had a situation where we were doing a project, a small project, and we didn't consider insurance because the project was so small. The project was about $30,000, $40,000. So we didn't consider insurance. And one of the workmen went up on the ladder and he fell off the ladder and broke both hands. I don't know how that happened. He broke both hands, and then his sister called me and asked me questions about insurance and everything, and if I'm willing to compensate him, etc., etc. So we didn't want to take that chance, so we actually asked the contractor to get insurance to cover for the whole time, to cover not only himself and his workmen, but to cover we from Public Works and other ministries who would have to come here from time to time to cover spectators and lookers who might pass and maliciously come on the site and get injured. We actually cover for all of this incidental. Then he got these information documents, brought them to Public Works. Then we gave him a letter of possession of site. So the site belonged to him. He takes full possession of the site. Then we give him another letter of commencement. We said, this is the day in which we want you to commence the work activity on site. And then it means that the site belongs to him, and he will take control of the site. Everything which goes on here, he is totally responsible for it. So then it means, therefore, when I come on the site, or when somebody from Public Works visit the site, and we're not satisfied with whatever, we will actually report to him that, hello, we came here on site, and this was what we saw. We are not satisfied with this. Men were walking around without proper shoes, etc. Because it means that somebody could get a nail dig, and you could create another problem there. So M&D actually took possession of the site, and he started the construction work. Now, the building which we are in today, as Mr. Petty said, we were supposed to be outside, and it was supposed to be a surprise for most of us to come into it. But it's unfortunate that the rain came, and we are here, inside here. The building has a number of areas. Sleeping area, this is one of the sleeping areas. This is for the female sleeping area. Right behind of us here is the bathroom section for the female. Then above, right up to the end, you have the male sleeping quarters like this, with the bathroom section too, so the male will not come down to be in the area here. Then you have the staff sleeping area, you have recreation rooms, you have office, you have porch, etc. Some special features of this building: we have ramps for the differently abled persons. It's supposed to be outfitted with Wi-Fi. You know, without Wi-Fi, the children not come in. So we have Wi-Fi for them so that they could be here. All right? Then also, because they'll be sleeping over, spending time here, we have 3 500-gallon water tanks on the roof, so that if water goes in the area, you will have water. You will have no problem. You have water. While the contractor was building and constructing, we had the great COVID-19. And you know, just as how we do, that the place was shut down. And then the contractor couldn't perform his work, so there was some delay. When we opened back up and he started to work again, he had some further delay, especially with the overseas material. When he tried to get, when he called the companies said, the guy would answer the phone and says, me alone here, nobody here to pack the truck, nobody here to pack the supply. So you have to wait for the next 2-3 months before we can deliver the material to you. And the shipping were the same thing too. Some of the ships, some of the agencies said we are shipping what they consider important items, such as medical facilities, medical items, pharmaceutical items, etc. These took precedence over construction-related material. So there were some delays on that side for the contractor. Now in the Phillips-Molyneux area, I must tell you, when I leave Public Works to go in the field, I would say, well, I'm going to Mulfield. And they keep asking, what do you mean by Mulfield? Where's Mulfield? I know saying it, but I don't know Mulfield. Well, Mulfield is where we are today. It gets the name from a bridge between Molyneux, which is below us here, and Phillips, so they call it Mulfield. So when I had to explain to them that it's between Molyneux and Phillips, says I am going. Because the contractor, one of the reasons the contractor M&D Construction is from Phillips. And as a result of that, a number of local small businesses were involved in this activity here. You had the subcontractors for the electrical, for the plumbing, and a number of guys got employment here at this facility to build and develop skills here in the facilities. So because of the local contractor here, he was able to identify people from the area to come and to work in this area here on this project. So I'm sure that the people of Phillips, all the contractors and the subcontractors, are happy to be a part of this facility here today. Now, national security, the Honorable Prime Minister, anywhere he sees me, he will come and whisper in my ear, how the building up Phillips going? And I will say, good sir, you sure? I said, yes sir. He always showed a keen interest in this building here. So we must say thanks to the Honorable Prime Minister for being there from the start right up until now. Mr. Petty, if I come to this site here 8 o'clock in the morning, Mr. Petty is here. If Mr. Petty says he wants to have a meeting on site here at 8:30, better sweet like Mr. Petty is outside there waiting for the meeting to start. Mr. Petty is always on site here. When I come here and I ask the contractor, oh, Mr. Petty was here, and he told me that too. So he was very much involved in the project. His office was very much involved to the call and ask, what about the contractor's payment? So they will be involved too. So we want to say thanks to Mr. Petty and his staff for being so involved in this project. Now to Inspector Isles, who is a pioneer in this area. She actually played a significant role too. She actually buttressed Mr. Petty. So she was there giving Mr. Petty the support all the way through this project, and she actually helped to bring it to what it is today. So put your hands together for Inspector Isles. Today, we at Public Works are pleased to be associated with this edifice. We are pleased to be associated with this project. And we want to say to you, to the young people, take care of this facility. It is yours, and it is yours to keep. This is the start of this institution, and I want you to actually do all you can. And any maintenance, it will be done by Public Works. But don't wait until it is broken or it is fully damaged. Call us and let us come and do some makeshift to it. One contractor has already asked me, a private contractor, could I get the job to do maintenance on this project? I said, that's a big question you are asking me. So then I said, what you need to do is to write a formal letter and say what you can do, say what you can contribute, and then we will see what we can do for you. But people are interested, and I want you to take care of the institution. I want you to take care of this building. It is yours. I can't overemphasize, it is yours. And thank you for coming. Thank you for allowing us to be a part of this facility. And I feel proud. On behalf of Public Works, we are proud and we are happy to bring this project to completion. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Gilbert. I'm going to ask the contractor to go and give some brief remarks. Mr. Percival, come please.
Good morning to everyone. I too would like to adopt the protocol that was set before. In my brief remarks, it's more of thanking individuals for what they have done and their contribution in helping M&D Construction to successfully complete this project. I must say that, I would like to really thank first the government, more so the Prime Minister, for choosing Phillips for the location of this wonderful project. When I was told about it, and I said in Phillips, because so often people look at Phillips as a place without future. And I said, wow, this is good investment for the community. And then those of us who had the opportunity to bid, it was 4 contractors from Phillips. That even made me feel much better, because the builder would have been a Filipino. And I said, wow, I am happy that I am the successful bidder. However, if it was not me, it was still one of my own. And that meant a lot to me. So, to Mr. Prime Minister, thanks a lot. I believe you had something to do with it. Yes, because, you know, so. And then I would like to thank Mr. Gilbert, Public Works, for their part. We never had a issue in terms of things, the communication and everything. The project went very smoothly. And I would like to thank him for that. Mr. Gilbert was the mainstay. But Rosemary Isles, listen, she is such a nice person to work with. And from the foundation, she is with the program, the project to now. She was, listen, she was very dependable. Could depend on her. And she would always ask me how things going and if there is any little issue there, here and there. And I just would like to thank her for her support. Mr. Petty, I could say here that I never send a WhatsApp. We communicate most of the time to WhatsApp. And he always responded to me on time. And that is very commendable. And as Mr. Gilbert said, that he would ask and so on, because, you know, if I ask or make a request to him immediately, he would tell me, I'm going to work on it, and result always happens. So I would like you really to put your hands together for him also. And I am the contractor, yes, but I also would like to thank my workers. They are not here, because the truth is, you can be a contractor, but you need good workers to work along with you. The electrician is Andy Cannonier. He lives right over there. He's from the community. And I tell you that he's a very good electrician, and he did a tremendous job. The plumber, contractor, is Carlton Pinney. He's from Molyneux. And I will also would like to thank them, and generally all the other workers who work along with me. I would like to say to the Explorer clubs, the group, that I really want you all to take good care of this building. You see, a building is as strong and will last as long as its occupants. The way you take care of it, I want you to earn it. Is yours. The government has invested something mighty for you, for the youth of the country. That again means so much to me, because this is show vision for our young people and the future. And I want you all to embrace it. Make it yours. So when you see another child doing something wrong, let them know, no, you cannot do that. Earn it. And I believe under God, you all will go from strength to strength. And as you continue to grow, may you all be good citizens of this federation. Again, I want to thank everyone, thank Public Works, thank everyone for giving me the opportunity to be the contractor for this building. And you know, some people say, well, from the Bible, as I close, from the Bible, they ask if any good thing can come out of where? Nazareth. Who came out of Nazareth? Jesus. Well, some people ask if any good thing can come out of Phillips. We can say the contractor for the Mulfield Explorer building came out of Phillips. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Percival. With COVID-19, it's going to be a while before we have any major camping activity in here, because I think COVID-19 has put a damper on a lot of things. But these rooms were designed not just for camping, they were designed really for activities. As I said, Um, we have bunk beds and order. On the wall there we intend to put a TV screen. We have benches which were built by the prisoners. I want to say that the missing element here in terms of acknowledgement would be the prisoners. There were 2 or 3 prisoners, I think, from Her Majesty's Prison who did some extra work for us. They built the lockers that we see behind us here, and they also built some benches. I want you to put your hands together for the prisoners for me, please. And when you go down to the dining area, they would have built about 8 dining tables. So, Mr. James, I want you to express our gratitude to, I don't know their names, but I think about 2 prisoners and Mr. Raymond Harris, I think, who was the person who supervised them. As I said, we'll have a TV screen on the wall there. And we've made provision for presentations to be made in this room, not just to girls, but the children as part of the developmental program. So these really are activity rooms. I mentioned the Explorers Major, and at this point we want to formally install them because these are important elements of Explorers. These are the leaders. These are the club leaders who are supporting the police, who will support the police. As I said, some of them have already gone to work, but they are here. They'll come back to help us work with the young people. And so we want to recognize them and to encourage them. And we will have, as each club develop, as we get people from each club, we will install some more. So at this point, I'm going to ask the Prime Minister and Inspector Isles to help me install 11, I think it's about 11. I'll ask Inspector to do the first 3 of the Explorers Major 1, and the Prime Minister will do the second 3. And then I'll ask Inspector to do the first 3 of the Major 2. And the Prime Minister can do the remaining 4. Inspector Isles. I want to thank Sun Island Close for designing a badge. Sun Island Close, I'll speak about them later on, but they've been a major partner for Explorers. They've been a major partner for Explorers, not just in making uniforms, but in terms of support. I recall in 2018, K-On Explorers was launched on the 8th of September. And we were to be on parade by the 19th of September, and some of the uniforms were not ready. And Mr. Nariani brought back his workers on Heroes Day, the 16th, and worked all day to ensure that the K-On Explorers uniforms were ready. And so I want us to give Sun Island Close a round of applause, please. Which is the Prime Minister gone? Okay. In the meantime, I would want to ask the following persons to just stand where they are. Kinnick Liferock, or Kinnick, Dominic, stay standing please. Dominic Bedford, Nania Sendval, okay, Akensia Morris, Keon Scott, and Wana Marisha. Huh? Anyway, whatever. Just remain standing a while, please. Where's Isles? Ready? Oh, we hold a while for the Prime Minister, but the first three. Okay. The first three, then would you? We have Kainik. Come forward, please. Dominic. Okay, thank you. Dominic. And Nania Selval. Prime Minister. Okay, Akenzie Morris. Keon Scott. And Marisha, 1 year or whatever. I'll now ask the Major two to stand. Tchaikovsky, York, Janet L. Grant, T. John Charles, could you stand please? Collis Maloney, Kishana Headley, Whitney Roberts, and Tazari White. Okay, Tchaikovsky. Janetel. Tijon. From Prime Minister. Collis Maloney. Kishana Headley. Whitney Roberts. And Tazari White. Thank you, Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, those are the major, explorers major, and they are expected to assist the police and parents with the club. I want to mention one major who is not here, Chris Tyson. Chris Tyson was one of the foundation members of Explorers. He is, however, in Taiwan. He got a scholarship from the Taiwanese, and so, but his badge is going to be here whenever he comes back. Chris Tyson is a major too, so he has been very active. He's in the drummers, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, at this point we'll have a poem by Jaden Swanson, Teach the Children. Come please, Jaden Swanson.
Good morning. Today I am going to be saying a poem called Teach the Children. Hate and prejudice are traits that I learned, and because of that, so many people get burned. They live their lives by the way they are taught, never realizing all the hatred they have brought. They think they are superior and should dominate. With mindsets such as this, what will be our fate? They live their lives when we are young people, make an impression, so what will we be teaching them is the question. Children watch and learn from our actions and words. Our future depends on what they've seen and heard. We must be able to teach them. We must be able to teach them a right way to live. And how easy it should be for, and how easy it should.
Just touch. Where you go?
That happens sometimes. At this point, we move quickly along. The inspector has asked Officer Kylan Lake to give some remarks, reflection on behalf of the team. Kylan Lake.
Good morning, everybody. Mr. Chairperson, please allow me to adapt the protocol that was already established. Today, I am honored, humble, and happy not just to be here, but to be associated with the illustrious Explorers Club. This club was engineered by Inspector Isles and PS Osman Petty, with the young people of this nation in mind. And I am very happy to report that our young people are being positively impacted through this club. I certainly count it a privilege to be a part of something far bigger than myself. And as you can see, I'm quite big. Yes. The year 2020 began as any other year, except for the idea that 2020 would have given you the perfect vision. We continued with our regular club activities and meetings. And as usual, the children were having fun while learning various lessons. As I reflect on 2020, I am happy with the activities we were allowed to accomplish. In our club, we enjoy playing sports such as football, basketball, and netball. We also hike and had some fitness activities. These activities help in teaching our youth endurance, discipline, and team spirit. It also helped with their overall health and wellness. Even I benefit from the physical fitness activities myself, even just a little bit, you know. I am also proud to report that we've had countless opportunities in club to offer one-to-one mentorship to a number of our youths. In fact, it is not unusual for us to be called by parents who ask us to speak to their children or child. It is in these moments, it is in moments like these that you can truly see the impact of your efforts firsthand. During the year, we also made it our business to connect with the schools to inquire about the behavior and performances of our explorers. We also had some guest speakers coming in and sharing critical life lessons with our youths and skills. To those who would have willingly come to address us during our club meetings, we say thank you. I also wish to take time to recognize those parents who not only sent their children to the club, but also partnered with us and became actively involved in the operation of the club. To you, we say thank you. And with the same breath, I encourage other parents to come on board and lend your support. While we had some success, this year was not without his challenges. With the onset of the pandemic and the lockdowns and the protocols restriction which follows, things changed fundamentally for the club. We were no longer able to meet as we normally would. However, as leaders, we're still determined to connect with our explorers. We did so by paying visit to the parents just to check upon our youths. We also make sure that our explorers were off the roads during lockdown time. Not only explorers, but the youths of this federation. I'm sure some of you guys can testify when the lockdown was on. You see 3 vehicles, 3 black jeeps would pass by in various communities, and we would give you some corona guidelines, safety tips. I recall giving out food hampers to those who needed it. We gave out masks and instructed explorers on safety measures relating to COVID-19. We also engaged the explorers with the use of technology during this hard period. Several of them recorded themselves displaying their talents, such as singing, dancing, poem, etc. Using cell phone cameras, and these videos were sent for other explorers to see. So even though they were not able to meet physically, they were able to feel some sense of connection. During the brunt of the pandemic, we were determined to be innovative and relevant in all that we did. As I continue to serve this noble club, my vision is simple, and that is to never give up on any youth. My own experience has taught me that anyone can change, because what I have been through in my own life, I believe that that person, as bad as they may appear, can turn around. As a police officer, I honestly believe that I can make a difference, and it is this belief and desire that's keep me going. We will all agree that working with youths is not easy. It's not. It has never been, and it will never be. Sometimes I am tempted to think that our efforts are in vain. But then I see right before my eyes the fruits of our labor. I do believe that St. Kitts and Nevis can be a better place. And through the grace of God, I will do whatever I can to see that happen. Thank you.
We're going to give Jaden Swanson, supported by Inspector Charles, to come back, please.
Good morning. Today I'm going to be saying a poem called Teach the Children from John N. Nelson. Hate and prejudice are traits that are learned, and because of that, so many people get burned. They live their lives by the way they are taught, never realizing all the hatred they have brought.
They think they are superior and should dominate. With mindsets such as this, what will be our fate? When we are young people, make an impression, so what we'll be teaching them is the question.
Children watch and learn from our actions and words. Our future depends on what they've seen and heard. We must be able to teach them right from wrong, and how easy it should be for us to get along.
We need to teach the children a right way to live, to love your fellow man and be willing to give. If the future generations do not repeat the past, we all can have hope that humanity will last.
Officer Nelron Short will come and do a rendition.
Good afternoon, everyone. This rendition would just be to give some words of encouragement to all of the Explorers children present here today, and for each and every one of us to take daily consideration of. I can almost see it, that dream I'm dreaming. There's a voice inside my head saying, you'll never reach it. Every step I'm taking, every move I make feels lost with no direction. My fate is shaking, and I gotta keep trying, gotta keep my head held high. There's always gonna be another mountain, I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes you're gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb, the struggles I'm facing, the chances I'm taking, sometimes might knock me down, but no, I'm not breaking. I may not know it, but these are the moments that I'm gonna remember most of. Just gotta keep going, and I gotta be strong. Just keep pushing on, 'cause there's always gonna be another mountain. I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes you're gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Keep moving, keep climbing, keep your faith. It's all about the climb. Saying there's always gonna be another mountain, I'm always gonna wanna make it move. Always gonna be an uphill battle, sometimes I'm gonna have to lose. Ain't about how fast I get there, ain't about what's waiting on the other side. It's the climb. Yeah, 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 yeah. It's the climb.
Thank you, Officer Short. One of the challenges that we will face and explorers face is transportation, because that is the program deliberately moves children around. You may be in Old Road, but we bring you here. You may be in St. Paul, but we take you to Trinity to mingle. And so transportation is a key factor in our program if it's going to work. And that's deliberate, because when Explorer started in 2017, in St. Kitts, Varsity High School football team couldn't go for trials. Children from one community couldn't go somewhere else, and this kind of social isolation was something that we deliberately factored into Explorers to try and remove. And so we are deliberately moving children around, mingling. And so I want to appeal to the business community and others who can assist in whatever way they can to help us. One or two coasters would go down very well for explorers. I want to thank Talbot, because we use Talbot a lot, but we have to pay. Of course, sometimes you pay and they don't show up. So we thank them for coming, but the transportation is something that we need to look at very carefully. Of course, the community policing team also needs transportation. At this time, I want to ask the Commissioner of Police to say a few words. Explorers is a community policing initiative, and the Explorers website and Facebook page makes that point very clear, so the Commissioner of Police will bring some remarks.
Well, what an injustice my peers just have done to bring me to make brief remarks after such a wonderful rendition. Could you give him another round of applause for that rendition? Good afternoon, Honorable Prime Minister, Dr. Timothy Harris. Permit me to adopt the protocol that has already been established. It is indeed a distinguished privilege to afford me this opportunity to give brief remarks on this prestigious event, the opening of this state-of-the-art building. It is Jesus himself who said, "Suffer little children and forbid them not to come unto me, but such is the kingdom of heaven." And as the prophet Isaiah also made it clear that a little child shall lead them. It is in this spirit that my heart is overjoyed today. Today is indeed a dream realized for the government, national security, the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, the explorers, and our beloved Federation in general. The Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force strongly believe in the creation of loving and caring and supportive environment to help young people develop into healthy and productive members of our community. The vision was clearly laid out in our strategic plan in 2016. As a part of the strategic plan, the force decided that community policing would be one of our priority areas. And it was also decided in collaboration with the Ministry of National Security, youth diversion educational programs would be the centerpiece of the new vision. With all of its successes, whether it is the highly popular drum corps or the critical important Spanish classes, we all agreed that the Explorer group need a permanent home if it was going to realize its true potential. With the opening of this magnificent facility, this magnificent edifice, we can boldly say today that you, the explorers, have indeed been presented with the best gift to help you realize your full potential. We truly believe that with the construction of this beautiful edifice, a new era of cooperation between the community and the police will be realized. It is our belief that this building and the young explorers will result in improving the public support and trust in the police. In addition, with this new building and with the young explorers, we hope to see a dramatic increase in the public confidence in the police. Finally, I truly want to thank so many for responding to the call of building this magnificent edifice so that we can provide even a better service to our youth. So, once again, I will take this opportunity to express my sincere appreciation to the government and the Ministry of National Security, members of the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, including assigned to the social intervention team, our much beloved explorers, their many supporters, family members, and our highly skilled contractor, Mr. Percival, and his team. This state-of-the-art building represents an unprecedented interest in our youth, and I pledge that the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force will continue to support our prestigious young explorers and indeed every young person in the Federation. I thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Because of the rain, we are going to make a slight adjustment in the program. We will have the symbolic cutting of the ribbon, and while the symbolic cutting of the ribbon is being done, the drum corps is going to perform under the tent because they cannot really perform in here with too much noise. So while the ribbon is being cut, the drum corps will perform. And so at this time, we will move straight to the address by the Prime Minister. The Honorable Timothy Harris has been, as I said, associated with the explorers from the outset, July of 2017. He has been at the launch of most of the clubs. He was very instrumental in assisting Malfield to get 2 pontoons, and of course he was the chairman of the estimates committee in approving this building. And so I want to personally thank the Prime Minister for his support for explorers, and to thank the Ministry of Finance, the Cabinet, and all who were associated with the approvals for getting us where we are today. So it is with pleasure, therefore, that I now call on the Prime Minister to give the feature address. Dr. Harris.
Thank you very much, Mr. Master of Ceremonies. I have taken note that time is fast approaching, and that it is the last day before the official holiday. And so I would want just to make some brief observations today on the historic opening of the Explorers Youth Club's headquarters here in Phillips Village. I want, though, to recognize with me our Deputy Prime Minister, the Honorable Sean Richards, and to thank him especially for taking time, not only because he loved young people, but to indicate his fullest support for what is happening here. I want also to recognize Ambassador of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Ambassador Tom Lee, and Michael. I equally must recognize the High Command of our security forces, all who have come out this morning to be part, well, came out today, to be part of this historic development here in northeastern St. Kitts. I want to ask Mr. Brandy to stand so that the young people can see the Commissioner of Police. Could you give Mr. Brandy a special hand of welcome? We have also with us our Lieutenant Colonel of the Defense Force, Commander Anthony Comrie. We have with us the Chief of the Fire Services and Rescue, Mr. O'Garrow. We have with us our Commissioner of Prisons, Mr. James. and all the others, the special invitees, in particular Sun Island, who has been with this group for a very long time providing support. And of course, we want to thank Sonia Carr, through her enterprise, Karen's, for the support they recently gave to the Explorers Club. Could both of you stand, and could we give them, please, a special hand of welcome for their contribution. We want, of course, to thank you, George Welcome, who hails from Lodge Village but has migrated away from us. He has now returned. So he is the senior engineer at Public Works. Could you stand, and could we give him too a special hand of welcome? I also want to recognize Pastor Cumberbatch, who is the chaplain of the security forces. Could we give him a special hand? And his church is the Wesleyan Church at Flamboyant Drive in Molyneux. I took the time at the outset to identify these personalities for a number of reasons, because I hope they represent role models for our young people. The Explorers Club has emerged in our country as the largest organized youth grouping in St. Kitts with a structured program for engaging our young people. And we want to give Permanent Secretary Petty and Inspector Isles a loud, rousing applause for doing that. 1,200 young persons and growing. And I'm sure when the scenes of this beautiful building are made widely available, and we have the induction formally of the club in Sandy Point, in St. Paul's and elsewhere, we are going to emerge even stronger in terms of the numbers, perhaps reaching nearly 2,000 young people in the Federation. And imagine the task and the important difference which this method of socialization, which brings our young people into contact with responsible adults, and how that can change them and change us as a society. Right here among the majors and the wider group of young persons engaged in our Explorers family, we have persons who are going to emerge and one day become the next Commissioner of Police, because either they appreciate what Inspector Isles would have done, or Sergeant Sampson, or Constable Lake, or some other officer who had been part of their mentorship and leadership to this program. There is hope. There is hope. And Mr. Petty says that the community policing effort attached to the Explorers is one of the most industrious of all the teams within the St. Christopher and Nevis Police Force. So I want to commend them. I would like to, coming from the school, we could have the next commander of our defense force. And I am happy that we have a cadet, not the Defense Force cadet. But I was amazed when Mr. Petty spoke that we have been able to build out a cadet associated with the Explorers Club, because this has been in the program for the Defense Force, and we have not had the kind of build-out that we would have liked within that particular unit. So I'm happy at least the void is being taken up. I am also encouraged that right here the next chief of our fire services and rescue department can emerge. And one of the activities in which the leadership of the fire department at Tabernacle had been engaged in recently was the visits to various communities, speaking to them about the work involved as an officer of the fire department of St. Kitts and Nevis. I hope that they would have come to this club In any event, they would have gone to various other communities, speaking to the parents and guardians. And so I hope that you will be inspired to go on that path. I am hoping equally that the next head of our Commissioner of Prison Services will come out of the Explorers group. In other words, all the wonderful people, the next cadre of leadership can potentially come from who we have here. And so this is an amazing thing when over 1,200 young people are being exposed to structured program of the type in which the Explorer group is now engaged. I am happy about that. And equally, I am happy that one of the former head teachers of the Molyneux Primary School, Joshua Obadiah Williams Primary School, Mrs. Joycelyn Pennyfeather, could you stand this here? I'm not sure if she would have taught any of you, maybe she has, but I want to especially welcome her as Dr. Pennyfeather and one of the new budding educators we have in this community. Pastor Myron Percival, when he spoke, asked, can anything good come out of Phillips Village? All goodness can come out of the people of Phillips, the people of Molyneux, the people of St. Paul's, the people of Sandy Point, the people of our country, if we will it to happen. If we, as responsible adults, take the lead in insisting on the kind of St. Kitts and Nevis we want to have. And we work hard with our young people to make that happen. When Officer Lake spoke, I smiled because Officer Lake told a story. I think it was at the formal launch of the Explorers Club at Lodge Project, Violet Petty School, about his own adventure into the rough side of life, how he has transformed his own life. He is a living testimony that there is good within every one of us. And though we may embark upon a certain pathway, on that road to Damascus, we can have a moment of reflection, revelation, and a moment of change. Look, if you are not careful, that Constable Lake will replace Commissioner Brandy if we keep up that way. So it's really a good feeling to come and to really be optimistic that while we are still some miles to travel on this journey of delivering to the people that we love in St. Kitts and Nevis this better, more optimistic future, full of opportunities for all, that right here we are seeing the start. And we are seeing what is possible. Look how leaders have emerged to fill the role of majors in the Explorers Club. Leaders from within have emerged. And we want to congratulate all those who have made the leadership and are now called majors. Give them again a special hand. What has been the guiding factor, because it is also unique to the St. Kitts and Nevis experience, that you should have a national youth group of this type being led through the Ministry of National Security. And we must ask ourselves why. Why? Because there was a point in the past where law and order had been a missing ingredient in our society. Why? Because there was a time when research would have discovered that there was a significant involvement of our young people, even at primary school age, in criminal activities. That is, significant adults were using them to engage in criminal activity. Whether it is to move a gun from point A to point B, because the young people they determined perhaps would get less attention and suspicion. And so we were concerned, as every serious person about the nation's development ought to have been concerned, to say that we need to engage, and we needed, as it were, to cut off that probability of another group of young persons moving into the gangs in our society. And so the Explorers Initiative came on board as part of an added value that we could bring to the fight to contain crime in our country and to stymie, eradicate the involvement of juvenile in criminal activities through constructive after-school engagement, mentorship, and outreach. The outreach is not just to the student. The outreach, importantly, is with their families, is with the mother, is with the father. Is saying to them that we are willing to try, but we need you to partner with us to give your child a stronger, safer, and better future. And that is why constantly, as part of the activities, they go and they visit parents. We heard that from Constable Lake. They talk to them. They see where there are challenges, and they work closely with the parents. Children must always be reminded to honor their mother and their father. Honor their mother and their father. It is the right thing to do. Blessings of God comes from that. And therefore, when our leadership within our police to our explorers group insists upon that, we see we are putting the country again on the right track. The right track for positive development. The right track for the goodness to reverberate in our country. So I feel especially pleased to be here. Not only because I was there in the beginning, not only because it is a program under the Ministry of National Security, but importantly I see this as helping our country consolidate the gains of peace that we have had. And in this regard, I want to commend the police and all the law enforcement officers, because 2020, hopefully no incident today, Mr. Brandy, I hope your men are all over the place. 2020 will end with the lowest number of homicides in our country, going way back to probably 2003. Let's give our police a round of applause. And we commend all the efforts of those courageous people, the courageous officers who are doing community policing here, the other officers that are out there taking the fight to the criminals, the other person who have come on board when all had seemed lost to do what they call an engagement with those who were in gang or affiliated with them. And when we begin to look at the numbers in some communities, it was really a frightening experience to know the numbers of people directly and indirectly tied to the gangs. And that is why we determined that we had to launch a peace initiative to save the country. I want to commend a young teacher who came forward, a guidance counselor who came forward, a pastor who came forward, a banker who came forward, and several other persons who came forward to provide support to the peace initiative. And there were times when we were scared for them. A small group of about 7 or so persons came as volunteers, took the time, going into locations where you would not expect them to go, with persons who the police, well, were suspicious, maybe a better way of put it, of being involved in gangs. Imagine sitting down face to face with somebody you know is a danger or menace to society. Imagine having to share your numbers with them. Even the police officers who took that oath, they themselves had their moments. But what was important was that they were able to connect, that a lot of persons who were involved in the gang, they did not want to stay, but they did not know how to come out. They needed a friend. And several of our police officers became their friends 24/7. Whenever there was a shootout, why we did not have one following up is because the officers went and the team went and re-engaged and reconstruct what always would have been an elusive peace. Today we can see the results of the homicides that we have had so far. Few of them are gang-related. Not so, Mr. Brandy? Yes, sir. That is what we have come to. In the good old days, every time there was a killing, we know that it was the gangman then. We have been able over the last 3 years to have 20+% decrease in homicides in our beloved country year after year. That is a remarkable achievement. And so it was maybe 2 weeks ago that Mr. Brandy, as part of regional law enforcement leadership, were explaining to persons, law enforcement agencies, about our model of peace. So we are having success there. That is becoming a model. Officers have gone on to Barbados in law enforcement engagements put on by the British High Commission to share our experience with the Peace Initiative. We are doing a lot of wonderful things, and we must continue to provide leadership in all areas of societal challenge in the region. So again, another round of applause for our law enforcement officers. I want, of course, again, to thank all the community police officers who are giving yeoman service to our country and to our young people in this regard. And I want again to congratulate Pastor Myron Percival of M&D Construction for doing an excellent job in delivering this beautiful edifice, not just to the people of Phillips Village, but to the people of St. Kitts and Nevis, because it is their headquarters, the headquarters for all of the clubs. And this is an important landmark that has come to this community. I am glad that he came here. I am glad, because too many persons in Bastia don't know where Phillips is. Too many persons in Rollo don't know where Phillips is. Mr. Hodge would try to give them direction, and then they get lost. He knows it. So at least by bringing more people to the parts of the country, we can develop stronger relationship and stronger appreciation for the circumstances under which our fellow citizens and residents live. This landmark building, of course, is an important addition to the people of the communities in which it is sited. And so I feel happy as a parliamentary representative to be part of these wonderful things that are taking place in the country and in my constituency in particular. And I must say a very big thank you to the people of Phillips Village, because election after election, they have never left me wanting. And in the last election, they performed as the best ever. Let's give them, man, a special round of applause for participation in democracy. For this is what democracy is about. My final word is, again, one of commendation. I listened to George Gilbert speaking about the process And I wish that more persons could understand how this government has been doing business in St. Kitts and Nevis. 4 contractors went through a detailed process of determining who will end up being the lucky one to construct this. And it was not just by name. He detailed the difficult criteria of assessment, the openness of it. Peter know what Tom put in or Mary put in. So when you hear some people say they don't know how this get it, nothing goes so in St. Kitts and Nevis. Every contractor that participates in the bidding process, he or she has the opportunity, once he submits his bid, to be part of the tender opening process. So very early, they know who would have won or likely to win based on the presentations. And Mr. Gilbert said at the end of it, it is pricing which must be reasonable. You can't just say you want to be the lowest and then you come back and you charge the government 3 times more. So yes, the affordability of the construction is important and timed. Sometimes some say they will take a year. Another time, some may say they will take a year and a half. The technicians like Gilbert at Public Works are who make the determination, having regard to the experience and knowledge about what is a reasonable time and therefore how close we are coming. So we are attempting by doing that process, which I strongly support, value for money. Value for money, and ensuring at the end of the day, the person who could deliver best for the country is the one that gets the job. And so, Mr. Myron, I gather that your original contract was somewhere about 2.5 million. Thank God you're not asking for any more money, and the end of the year is today, so that can't come in tomorrow. But we want to thank you, though, for delivering the project on time, having regard to the COVID developments, but certainly within budget. Let's give him a special round of applause. Put in perspective, finally, is that I want us to appreciate that the government is making a significant investment in our country and in our young people in particular. If you listen to the budget, you would have learned that the government gave the Ministry of Education perhaps its largest budgetary allocation of over $100 million. That's significant. $100 million. That's a lot of money, not so, Mr. Hodge? Mr. Hodge don't even know how he will spend all of that. $100 million. And to the Ministry of Sport, $10 million. Those are 2 critical ministries in terms of engaging young people. Of course, young people are serviced through all of the ministries, but in particular education, where we are trying to ensure that they get the best quality education that help them in the end to become responsible and productive citizens and residents of St. Kitts and Nevis. That is the education mandate. Help them to become, help them to know, help them to do, help them to live together as they're going to have to do through the instrument of the Explorers Club. And then security. Security has received over $86 million. We're not taking chances with law and order. And certainly, if we add the other 10, that is part of the initiative for the at-risk people, we are looking at a contribution of $96 million to national security. So I want to end on a note of thankfulness. This has been a challenging year for all of us. But look, we are still standing. Look, we can look to the future with hope. Hope real hope, because so far we have been able to manage adversities to God's guidance and wisdom. So tomorrow we usher in the dawn of a new day with all the symbolism and substance, new opportunities, new beginnings, and the foundation of a budget of close to $1 billion that we are invested to lead the country to recovery. So thank you, one and all. Thank you, Mr. Petty, for having me to be part of this historic development. We want to continue to create our own history of good things. This is a legacy development in the context of law and order in our country. This is a legacy initiative that generations after us will speak to as being an important stabilizer of our society and contributing to the advancement of St. Kitts and Nevis. May God bless us all, and may He continue to keep each of us and our families safe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prime Minister. I just want to... Oh, we're going to do the cutting of the ribbon. We're going to go outside, look at the ribbon. Huh? Yeah. I think you should read it, because if you read it on my phone, read it.
Mr. Petty wanted me to read, but I didn't go by any notes. You see, I just said what was in the heart in the interest of time. But he felt it was important that as Prime Minister and Minister of National Security, I should read the vision and mission statement for the Explorers. So I do this now. Healthy vision of the Explorers Clubs would be that healthy relations in all communities in the Federation amongst youths, police, parents, guardians, through education, personal and social development, training, and community empowerment. The mission statement says, the Explorers Youth Clubs movement is a nationwide undertaking by the Royal St. Christopher Nevis Police Force, motivated to improve the quality of life of all youths across St. Kitts and Nevis by facilitating their holistic personal development through experiential capacity building and community development engagement. As a community policing initiative, Explorers Youth Clubs seek to develop good ethics amongst young people that will give them a head start to assist in their future endeavors. I think this is it. So could we give a round of applause for the creators of the vision and the mission of this club? Thank you.
At this time, we would have had the presentation of the drum corps. What we will do, we will go outside and do the ribbon cutting. Before we do that, though, I'm going to call on one of our major, Kishana Headley, to come and give some vote of thanks. As she comes, I want to mention Contech, Construction Technology, who, when this building started, they gave us the first contribution of about 1,000 blocks to start the building. So can we give Contech a round of applause? Kishana.
Good afternoon, all. I would like to thank all distinguished guests for taking time out of their busy schedules to be a part of this opening ceremony of the Explorers Building. On behalf of the 12 Explorers Club, I would, sorry that I think, but in 2017, Miss Rosemary Ives Joseph, she had a vision for the youths of St. Kitts and Nevis, and with the help of Mr. Osmond Petty and the community policing force, that vision was put into action, and I would like to say thanks.
Thank everybody for being here. At the back of the bulletin, your program, you'll find a list of the main contributors for Explorers. I've already mentioned Sun Island Crew, but I want to specially mention Ross University, who has been with us from the onset, starting with Veron Lake and now continuing with Tiffany Liban. I want to mention, I also mentioned Care Construction already with the pontoon. Windsor University gave us a major contribution to expand our drum corps. We have a drum corps of close to 75 members, and there are 2 drum corps really. I also want to mention the Community Development Department, who way back when gave us quite a number of things for the youth to use, which we could never have displayed until now. And as you go into the male barracks, you'll see a few things there, like a drum set, a ping pong board, and a few other things which for the first time we can display and to be used by children when they come. One of the things that Explorers will do is to have club within clubs. We already have drumming, we will have sewing and so on, but we will have music. We have 3 keyboards plus the drum set, so all we need is a guitar, and then we'll have an Explorers band. Thank you all very much. Thank you, Prime Minister. Thank you, Minister Richards, for being here. Thank you, Ambassador, for gracing us with your presence. And thank the High Command, Commissioner Brandy, for his remarks, for Jaden for her poem. And the drum corps will entertain you as the Prime Minister cuts the ribbon symbolically, please. Now, please feel free to look through the rest of the building. I want the Explorers children, though, to give the visitors a chance, so you will stay outside until we don't want too many, because of Corona, we don't want too many people flocking around. So I'll ask you to stay outside on the veranda for a while until the visitors look around. Once the ribbon is cut, and then you can have your own view. The mission statement is found in will be seen on the wall in the dining area, along with the team song and the other things relating to Explorers. So let us proceed and have the symbolic cutting of the ribbon, and also the presentation by the drum corps outside. Thank you very much.
No, no, let's conclude. Only we want.